Yeah, let's get audacious.
We need to look at the opening script though, but I need to cool up. I'm so hot.
you're just
Oh my
you're
God.
just
I'm just,
melting
like,
over
sweating. That's also because I just got home and I'm like racing to get set up and I'm dripping in sweat. I'll be right back.
there. George, I'm going to use that as the opening clip. Do you think he'll be mad at me?
On the Dallas Opera Network, you're listening to Opera Box Score.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Wherever you are, however you're listening, it's America's talk radio show about opera. It's Opera Box Score. I'm your host, George Cederquist, joined this week by Oliver Camacho and Weston Williams. All right, this week, pianist and vocal coach Irina Meachem and her baritone husband Lucas go inside the huddle with the three of us to preview their upcoming album, Shall We Gather, which comes out September 24. Plus, in the 2-minute drill, can't we just keep the drama on the stage and out of the wings and out of the fly tower? Yikes. If you're watching on TDO, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Stitcher. You can just favorite the show on Apple Podcasts. Allegedly, you can even tell Alexa to play the podcast.
Allegedly. I don't know how it works, but apparently it works for someone.
Weston, this worked for your family?
Yeah, I mean, we were trying to figure out if we wanted to get on Amazon Music, and my parents informed me that they've been listening on their Alexa this whole time, and I'm like, how did you do that? And they're parents, and they have no idea. So I don't know if they got a jailbroken Alexa or what, but we're on at least one Amazon service somewhere.
Oliver Camacho, do you too have an Alexa in your home?
I don't have one of those things. So I had to go the old-fashioned way where I turn on my record player and then I put on a record and walk over to it and flip it over when it's time to hear the cabaletta to the aria.
It was such a big deal when Oliver finally made the switch from wax cylinders. We had to help him through it.
I'm actually not even kidding. Like when I was very late to technology, I didn't have a computer of my own until after I graduated from college. I'm not kidding about that. I used the Wi-Fi
the computer
cafes.
lab. Yeah.
Yeah, and the computer labs, yeah. But also, I used to carry around a CD player with me at the gym, like a Discman. And so I had these like basketball shorts that had this gigantic, square and pocket. And I used to have to put like a tape adapter into my car that like connected to the CD because I didn't even have a CD drive in my car. So it's taken me a while. So now I'm finally up to CDs now. I know there's technology after CDs, but I still got some CDs that I'm listening to.
This is a true story about me. When I was in college and I couldn't afford headphones or an iPod, I would walk around on campus at night listening to my music by holding my laptop on my shoulder and blasting Wagner at full volume directly into my right ear. And I'm sure it's done no damage at all.
Well, it took Oliver a while to embrace the technology. It took Justin Fields a couple games to get onto the field for the Bears, but the second stringer now starting for the Bears, got them a win last Sunday. It's what the fans want. It's what the coach wanted. And it's a good move. So hopefully we've got some wins coming our way for the Bears. We got some great stuff on the show this week. Let's get out of the way. Let's talk some opera.
Huddle up. Let's go inside the huddle.
Irina Meachem is a first-generation Romanian-American pianist who regularly accompanies voice recitals and coaches opera singers. She has worked at Palm Beach Opera, Sarasota Opera, Opera Birmingham, Amarillo Opera, Nashville, Shreveport, Chicago Summer Opera, Opera in the Ozarks, the Banff Center. She's the co-founder of the Perfect Day Music Foundation, a not-for-profit we will talk about in the interview. And she is married to a baritone named Lucas. You might have heard of him. His name is Lucas Meachem. We'll meet him too in this interview. Lucas and Irina have their first album together, which comes out later this week. Probably by the time you hear this podcast, this album will be available. It's called Shall We Gather?
Thank you. Yes. So we recorded this in January 2020, and we use our platforms to say something more than just, we make pretty music. And
yeah. I'm a good opera singer, and this is what I do. And
This was before COVID hit, right before, and we felt that there was a divide in the country, and we wanted just to inspire a coming together.
Yeah,
And
and this is again
this is
January
before,
2020, so
yes.
we didn't
The
think,
timing is impeccable, really.
of course, George Floyd after that COVID,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just gotten
There's
more and more.
even more of a divide, and now we feel less connected than ever before. And so we wanted to name the album Shall We Gather, because it's a statement yet a question. What connects us? What divides us? What makes us who we are? And how can we come together on all of these things? And if you take a look at the album art, Lucas and I are 6 feet apart in a dark theater. And that was sort of the impact that the arts have on us, but also just on the togetherness that we want to inspire through music. Music has so much possibilities and power. This was our hope. So hopefully the music represents that.
Lucas, it is great to meet you for the first time. Irina, this is something of a reunion for us. 10 years ago, we were at the same summer festival together working on a double bill of Puccini and Michael Ching. So the OBS, here we are, opera content in a sports talk radio format. For both of you, what sports did you play in your youth, or do you play now? What sports teams are you following this season?
Well, I played basketball, baseball, and football growing up when I was.
The trifecta. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't play football for long.
I didn't play football for long, but that was more. I just did. Okay, basketball and baseball I played since I was really young, and then I stepped into football sort of because I was the biggest guy in my class. Rural North Carolina again, so I wasn't huge, but I was the biggest guy in my class, and I just didn't get it. They said the coaches would tell me what to do and where to go, and I was like, I can throw and catch a ball. I just don't know what these little symbols mean, these X's and
So wait a second. Someone telling you what to do and where to go didn't translate to an opera stage?
yeah, I learned that later in life.
So funny.
That's very good, very good. But anyway, I even played on my high school golf team because I grew up in the capital of the world. Near Pinehurst, North Carolina. And the way it even worked out is they needed 6 people to field a team in high school, and they only had 5, and I happened to not be playing a sport and during that time. And they're like, Lucas, will you play? I was like, I'm not going to practice. I'm not going to show up to any practice. I'm only going to show up to the matches, and yeah, I'll be your 6th guy. As long as you're cool with that.
Once again, this is sounding exactly like opera.
This is sounding like, all right, I'll show up, and I'll show up a week late. Now, negotiating. And actually, I was really good at soccer. I was what is it called? Captain of my team, the goalie. Yeah, I was a goalie. I was all-conference goalie. I was really good. I got offered scholarships to go be a goalie, actually, because I had really quick feet because I played so much basketball.
Where were you offered a scholarship?
At Lenore Ryan University. So, big time.
Wow. I mean, maybe the better way to phrase this question was, did you ever have any sports that you didn't do in your youth?
Good call. Bad call on Opera Box Score.
Oh my gosh, it's been a fantastic hour. Oliver Camacho, do you have a good call or a bad call?
I want to just congratulate Jamie Barton for making her role debut as Carmen in Chicago Opera Theater this last weekend. It was everything you thought it would be. I went to hear her talk the day after I saw Carmen. She did a conversation with William Berger of the Met Opera. And she said to the audience there, I've been wanting to sing Carmen for a long time, but they always tell me I'm the wrong size. And for those people that were at Chicago Opera Theater this past weekend, I think a lot of those people were first-time opera goers. A lot of those people had heard Carmen for the first time that day. And the audience went ape poop wild. They were so excited, and she sounded like $1 million. And if Jamie Barton doesn't start getting a bunch of Carmens on her schedule, the opera world is missing out on a huge opportunity right now.
Yeah, history made, I think, probably here in Chicago. Weston Williams.
I have been absolutely obsessed this past week with listening to the new Léa Desandre album. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name because she's both French and Italian. So Léa Desandre, she's the new album is called Amazone. One of the two. It's Amazon with an E for you Americans out there like me. It is fantastic. It's with the Jupiter Ensemble. She gets
My husband
Cecilia
Tomato
on it.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, it's truly an amazing album. If you've never heard her sing before, she's got just this absolute intensity and like incredible precision, but like everything is completely emotionally grounded as she's going. She sings these crazy color
She's
tour
a
runs.
savage singer.
She's
and
amazing.
You don't normally get savage singers in early music, so she's
Yeah.
a very exciting artist. Yes.
And it's all based on like these sort of like Amazon related operas and Baroque era pieces where she gets to really bring out the war hammers, and it's an absolutely phenomenal album. I've been listening to it on repeat all week. Go check it out.
I have a bad call. Anna Netrebko turned 50 earlier this week and decided to throw a birthday party for herself, which was a concert. Crazy names here. I'm not even sure if she was singing or not. Domingo, Viazon, Bartoli, Evvazov. The list goes on and on. This was at the State Kremlin Palace. Putin, perhaps, in the mix there. Gergiev, too. Let's just put all the bad guys in one place. You know what? Here's a pro tip. Just take your kid to Chuck E. Cheese, honestly, or just have some wine at home and like Netflix and chill.
So you don't want Matthew, me, and Ashley to sing at your 50th birthday party?
That would be my nightmare.
How about me, George? Can I sing at your birthday party?
That's it for this week's edition of America's talk radio show about opera. Our announcer, he's Norm Woodel. He's at normwoodel.com. On Facebook, search for Opera Box Score. Twitter and Instagram, we're at Opera Box Score. Yes, Lucas, we're going to try harder. Help us deepen our bench of listeners by liking and sharing those social media posts. Email us your hot takes. Email us what you want to hear on the show, operaboxscore@gmail.com. Subscribe to the podcast on Stitcher. Favorite the show on Apple Podcasts. Our creative consultant is Oliver Camacho. Our audio and video editor is Weston Williams. Thanks again to our guests, Irina and Lucas Meachem. For your absent co-hosts, Matt Cummings and Ashlee Hardgrave, I'm George Cederquist, asking you to continue the conversation about opera as you go apple picking this autumn.
Ooh.
We're back with an all-new show next week. We go inside the huddle yet again. This time, director Rose Freeman, who's leading an opera double bill for Third Eye Theater Company right here in Chicago. Plus, you get more opera headlines, more hot takes, and more embittered stagehands. Join us.